Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks again, and it seems like the markets are dumping as a result. Except not all markets. The crypto markets are resilient as ever. We're going to be talking about this decorrelation event that's happening right now as we speak. It's not the first time it's happened this time around and won't be the last. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So here we go, 2% down on the day. This is the S&P 500. This is the stock market. The stocks are not doing well right now. As you can see, everything is red at the moment. Yet you see Bitcoin, and we are pretty much dead even on the day. In fact, we are down, 0.1%, and there's a bunch of cryptos out there that are still fairly positive. The crypto markets are doing pretty well, and we're actually seeing Jerome Powell talk about crypto, something I actually didn't expect us to see anytime soon. But here is what Jerome Powell has to say directly about crypto and crypto regulation.
About technological change and new kinds of instruments, cryptocurrencies. How do you see the potential for more favorable regulations coming on them, and potential risks from that for the system?
You know, so we went through a wave of failures and fraud and things like that, were the headlines for a couple of years. And I think what you see now is, and during that period, by the way, we worked with Congress to try to get a framework, a legal framework for stable coins, which would have been a nice place to start. We were not successful. I think that the climate is changing, and you're moving into sort of more mainstreaming of that whole sector. So Congress is again looking at both the Senate and the House are looking at a framework, a legal framework for stable coins. You know, depending on what's in it, that's a good idea. We need that. There isn't one now. And stable coins are a digital product that could actually have fairly wide appeal and should contain consumer protections of the typical sorts and transparency. And that's what the Senate and the House are working on. So that's a positive thing. I also think some of the we took a pretty conservative, and other bank regulators took an even more conservative perspective on the guidance and rules we imposed on banks. I think there'll be some loosening of that, and I think we'll try to do it in a way that preserves safety and soundness, but that permits and fosters appropriate innovation, but that does so in a way that again doesn't put consumers at risk in ways they don't understand or make banks less safe and sound.
This is very bullish. I mean, exactly what Jerome is saying here is that, one, we need stablecoin regulation. Stablecoins can be a huge positive. They have mainstream appeal potentially. And he also said that they're going to be loosening rules on banks. As you saw right there, banks, for the most part, haven't been able to buy a lot of crypto. Now, Mr. Jerome is saying that maybe now's the time. We'll let them go ahead and buy a lot more. We'll make it safe, and we'll go ahead and pump the markets pretty much. And that's led to crypto being incredibly resilient. It's already flipping green, as you can see right here. Despite the fact that the entire stock market is down, these decorrelation events are very positive events for crypto. I mean, as much as people can go ahead and check out some of the other niches in crypto and say, oh, it's not doing too well, crypto is incredibly resilient, and there are a lot of stocks in the stock market that are down a heck of a lot more than what the S&P 500 is showing. Other things that are causing the stock market to drop today, the China tariff news is not getting better, unfortunately, not yet. China, they increased once again, faces up to a 245% tariff on imports to the United States as a result of its retaliatory actions. This includes a 125% reciprocal tariff, a 20% tariff to address the fentanyl crisis, and a Section 301 tariff on specific goods between 7.5% and 100%. Absolute insanity right now. And that's causing the markets to once again have even more turmoil. Not a good thing for the people trying to build their products in China, of course. But, we'll see where that ends up. All we know is that Jerome Powell does go ahead and see that the markets are reacting in a negative way as a result of this. And hopefully that leads to more rate cuts for us. We love rate cuts. But every time this guy talks, this is what we see every time he starts yapping. He starts yapping and we get pure red. Other things we saw from Mr. Jerome was the tariff news and his response to it.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects. which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
So he said that the tariff stuff is not good. It's not good at all. And that's not bullish news for us at all. Hopefully we get a resolution on the tariff trade war. Don't think anything's going to happen anytime soon, but still something good. He does kind of say his same old spiel, but still good to hear, I guess.
Despite heightened uncertainty and downside risks, the U.S. economy is still in a solid position.
Right. It's always in a solid position. We're always doing absolutely wonderful. So that's your Jerome Powell news. In other news, we have Raydium, which is launching a direct competitor to Pump Fund. Pump Fund has been the highest revenue play of the cycle. It started the meme coin super cycle, as you all know. Now Raydium is trying to be a direct competitor, wants to go ahead and destroy what Pump Fund has built. They built an all-in-one token launchpad. The first token is about $5 million market cap. It's called Manipulated Time. Some sources are saying that the team that has launched this coin is a team of serial grifters. Now, it's meme coins, so probably. The answer is probably. So please do your own due diligence on meme coins. They're very high-risk assets. But still, if this does well, if these coins do well on Raydium, then we have an actual shot at seeing a PvP market once again in the meme coin space. We'll see which one edges out. Pump Fund has just been so large for so long that I doubt Raydium will be able to compete, but we will see how the markets want to go ahead and react. As it stands with Bitcoin, we're having a very strong recovery leading into the volatility right now. This is good. It's exactly what we want to see in terms of what you guys have subscribed for the most part. The gaming markets, this is something we haven't talked about in a couple days. The total gaming market cap has gone down to below $10 billion, which is absolutely insane. It's not a number we've seen in a very long time. Volume in crypto gaming is actually still fairly strong, but it is looking very, very bad in terms of price action. How can we play this? How can we play the gaming markets? And what are the big catalysts that have been coming out in terms of gaming? Well, just to be very honest with you, we haven't really had any big catalysts that are giving any sort of investor confidence. We'd want to see a game get enough transactions, get enough price action in Web 2 to the point where it ends up being a net positive or a Ponzi scheme. Either one is pretty good. We had Bitcoin, which Bitcoin did pretty well. It was on Abstract or something like that. Yeah, it was on Abstract. This Bitcoin thing did pretty well. It's doing all right, I guess. It was a huge Ponzi. It went up an absolutely enormous amount, corrected. Would not recommend getting in at this point. But you either get some huge chart like this or you get something like Guns. I made a video on Guns. I think if crypto gaming is going to make it anytime soon, it's probably going to be the Avalanche games that make it happen, because Guns has a decent enough player base in Web 2 that they'll be able to make enough revenue to make their token make sense. Because as it stands, you need to be making revenue on a token to be able to justify the token making sense in the first place. We saw it with AXS. We're likely going to see it again with tokens like Guns. There were other tokens like Quest that came out, didn't really get a lot of traction. So we'll have to go ahead and see if the volume trickles back. If you're asking me what tokens I would buy in crypto gaming, I've made videos before. I accumulated some Beam in the recent term. Other than that, I'm really waiting to see what comes next other than Guns and Beam, to see what actually proves itself. Because this is a time and place in the crypto gaming markets where you don't really want to ape into 500 different plays. You want to very much segment yourself to specific niches when they make sense. And right now, crypto gaming, as much as it's bleeding, I think you'll be better off just buying in late than buying in early. At least when it comes to crypto gaming, we want to see the product make it. The people that bought into CSGO skins, that is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, when they bought into CSGO skins, a lot of the guys that got in late made a ton of money. It's okay to be late. You just need to make sure that you're getting into a high conviction bet and taking profit when it makes sense. There were 10x plays back in late 2023, and there will likely be 10x plays in the future. Just make sure you're taking profit into these pumps so that you don't get liquidated. Until the next time, my friends, stay classy, and I'll see you all on the next one.